Neal, how you doing?
Doing good.
You know what time of year it is? It's Louisville. May is on the horizon. You want to talk some Derby?
I do. Not a better time in the city.
Let's get it going.
Recorded live from Louisville, it's Talk About Town, the Louisville podcast. And now, your hosts, Neal Chad and Chad Hennessy.
Hey, Ron White here. I'm nowhere to be found. You're listening to Talk About Town, like I give a...
Welcome to our guest. We're really excited to have Lauren Baldwin with us today.
Hi, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Figured, I know you've got a nice event coming up here very soon that we could talk about, and a little bit about the upcoming Derby season in general.
Yes, I would love to. Just to kind of introduce myself, obviously my name's Lauren Baldwin, and I work for the Kentucky Derby Museum. I actually do all of the sponsorships, partnerships, fundraising for the organization, as we are a 501c3 nonprofit. So this is our time to shine, and I'm super excited to be here.
This is the proverbial Super Bowl season for
Absolutely.
horse racing, right?
Absolutely. It's crazy, and the madness has begun.
I guarantee it's begun.
I actually just did a TV spot at the Derby Museum.
Did you?
With Rachel Carr.
Yes, I love Rachel.
Uh-huh.
She actually said something because I asked her to be here with me this morning.
That's...
Yes. But oddly enough, we have... So I don't know if everyone understands or knows this, but it's the 50th anniversary of Secretariat's Triple Crown win this year. So that's kind of like our big deal right now. And we have our Secretariat Bourbon Dinner tonight, which we put on sale, and it was on sale for a number of hours and it sold out. I mean, It was crazy. And it's people coming from all across the country too, which is very exciting. And because we really didn't know what to expect, but Secretariat has a cult following, and it's going to be a super cool event. We have a permanent exhibit for Secretariat opening tomorrow. So that's exciting as well. So our communications and marketing department is busy at the museum, getting everything ready to go and talking to media and all that fun stuff.
Well, especially being a milestone year like year 50. I mean, Secretariat is the Michael Jordan, the Tom Brady of horse racing.
Yep.
And arguably greater athlete in prospective sport than even those athletes are.
Yep.
Absolutely. I mean, just incredible. And so I want to kind of put in a little spot here to tell everybody or welcome everybody to the museum to come see the permanent exhibit, because it's really amazing, super interactive, just really fun. And we have some video pieces to the exhibit, which is really cool. And it's just a fun exhibit, and it looks beautiful. So come out and see it. Public exhibit opens tomorrow. Come out. It'll be there. And we hope to see everybody around Derby anyway. Obviously, that's why I'm here.
Well, actually tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, but also what your role is with the Derby Museum.
Sure. I actually, I've been with the Derby Museum for about 7 years now. I did leave for a brief stint to kind of do some other things at a certain point in my life, and I'm back. And even when I was gone, I did some consulting work for them. So it's an organization I'm very passionate about. They've been wonderful to me, and they're great. I think a lot of people, our biggest hurdle and obstacle is the fact that most people think that we are part of Churchill Downs. They just kind of assume that we go hand in hand. But to the contrary, we are a nonprofit, as I mentioned earlier, and although we have an amazing partnership with Churchill Downs, we are completely separate. And we're very independent too. So we do run Churchill Downs retail. We have 300 external and internal events a year. So events are a huge revenue builder for the museum. I mean, we just always have our hands in something, and we welcome on average at least 200,000 visitors a year. So it's pretty incredible. We have outreach that goes to everywhere in Kentucky and Indiana to teach children about the Derby and make it fun, and kind of do little field trips, we'll say, within their school. And children come to us for field trips as well. So I think it's funny because you talk to people that are local and they're like, the only time I've ever been to Derby Museum, I was 7 years old on a field trip, but come back out. It's changed, it's amazing. And it's just such an amazing thing to have here in the city that I think oftentimes as a local, you do forget about, unfortunately. And that's why a great deal of our visitors are tourists. Mm-hmm. However, come out and see us.
I think there's a lot of local things, probably in every town, that you're like,
Absolutely.
well, I've never been.
Yes.
I have yet to be to the Ali Museum.
Really?
And that's probably criminal.
I'm embarrassed to tell you, I've been there, but I haven't been through the museum. Like I've been to an event there, but they blocked off the museum.
Yeah.
I've yet to kind of walk through and see the exhibits.
Amazing place.
And it's not for not wanting to go. It's just like it's not
Sure.
something that I'm like, oh, today I'm going to go check that out.
You're rarely a tourist in your own city.
That's right.
Good
So,
point. Good point.
you know.
And we have so much to offer museum wise. We really do.
It's funny because I was talking to somebody yesterday, and this is totally off topic, but he said, my kids can't understand why anybody would want to come visit Louisville. I'm like, as a kid, of course, as a teenager, I probably would have said the same thing myself. But now it's like, it's incredible what our city has to offer. Mm-hmm. It really is.
It's funny you say that. Last week I was at a conference. A friend of mine, he actually called me a couple weeks ago. He's from, lives out in the Indianapolis area, I suppose, up Indy. And they came into town, and he said, hey, we're going to do a mini 4 days. Rather than go to Florida, we're going to come to Louisville. And I was like,
really?
yeah, even myself.
Yeah.
Anyways, I saw him last week, and he's like, great week. He goes, they hit
I love to
I
hear
think they
that
went to
too.
the Derby Museum.
Sure.
They did Slugger Museum, the Fraser Museum, and then, just kind of exploring the city. I was
Yeah.
like, wow, that's
the
great.
restaurants and the bourbon.
And it's kind of circular. A lot of my marketing is like, hey, look at this cool thing I found.
Yeah.
Yep.
And for that reason, I seek out kind of off the wall hidden gems in Louisville and go around,
Rightfully
which makes
so.
me appreciate
Yeah.
even more.
Yeah. It's amazing how much is right before our eyes that we don't even know is there.
It is. It's some hidden jewels for sure. So, Lauren, I know that there's a really nice event that you want to promote.
There is. I would love to talk about it. So actually next Friday, April 28th, we have our largest fundraising event of the year, which is the Kentucky Derby Museum Ball. This year it's the 36th annual. Unfortunately, today, ticket sales stop at noon. So if anybody hasn't bought their tickets yet, here's a plug. Please do so by noon. But more importantly, I wanted to talk about a portion of the event that we are going to be offering tickets for. And it's the back end portion. I know it's been a little bit confusing to people because they're like, well, wait a second. Do I need tickets to the ball and to the backstretch? We're calling it the backstretch party. And it is for basically it's focused on dancing, drinks, and just a whole lot of fun. So much less expensive ticket. We're basically trying to get in that new generation because I feel like, we have so many regulars and we have people that buy tickets to the ball every single year faithfully. And we love those people, those patrons, but we need some, we want people to come out, the younger people to come out and see. It's so much fun. And we put on a heck of a good party. So it's like, come out and see. Tickets are $150 dollars with promo code KDM50 off. You get $50 off, $100 ticket. You get all you can drink, dancing, late night bites. We'll have a pop-up buffet sponsored by Drake's, which is going to be pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
Crazy cool photo opportunities, live band, the party feels. I mean, it's going to be awesome. So it's like, come out and see what we're made of and just have a blast. It's really truly the best kickoff to Derby. The night before opening day of the track. It's kind of like puts you in the Derby spirit, and it's a freaking blast.
What are the hours of that after party?
Sure, the after party starts at 8:30, so the lounge opens at 8:30, and then we kind of join the entire group at 9 o'clock. We'll watch the movie, our 360-degree film, The Greatest Race, and then we'll all come together and just have some booze and have a good time and get down on the dance floor.
9 o'clock is like my bedtime.
Hey, take a nap. Take a nap. I know I say the same thing, but I'm like, I'm going to gear up for this. I don't care what I have to do. Last call's at midnight-ish. We're shutting the doors at 12:30, but it's going to be a blast.
And I will say, this will come out sometime around the 24th. So the main ticket will not be available.
Main ticket will no longer be available.
However,
But the backstretch definitely available.
Backstretch will be definitely available.
Nice.
We will keep the backstretch on sale at least until next Thursday through noon,
Okay.
if not until time of the event.
no, that's good. That's good.
It seems brilliant to me because whenever you go to any kind of event like that, it's all the boomers.
Yeah.
We need to infuse some youth into some of the culture here.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because we did sell a type of sponsorship for the ball itself that includes tickets to the backstretch. So it's great because then it's a great thing to give your clients, great thing to give your staff. So, kind of just hopelessly plugging for next year too, because really for one of our, it's called a Triple Crown sponsorship. The amount you get with that sponsorship package is pretty incredible. And, you're supporting a local organization that's a nonprofit that is all about the Derby and preserving the heritage and the legacy of the Derby. It's something we need and we need to support.
Mm-hmm.
And it just really exposes. I mean, if you get somebody there for a heck of a time, that 360 movie is worth the price of admission alone.
Oh
it's
my gosh.
Amazing.
I don't care. I've seen it 1,000 times and the hair on my arm still stands up every single time I watch it. Mm-hmm. I make sure that I go out of my way every Derby week, every year to watch it because it's just so incredible and it will bring tears to your eyes.
That's nice. That's
Yeah,
fun. Yeah,
it really is. And the Derby Museum, when I did that TV spot and went, I hadn't been since, probably I was a kid either.
Exactly.
And there was so much cool stuff to interact with, to look at, to see.
Yeah, and we're always changing, we're always updating exhibit-wise. And I mean, it's just really fun. And especially nice to know as far as corporate, from a corporate standpoint, is we do so many external events because it's a great place to host a retreat. It's a great place to host a meeting. It's a great place to whatever you want, weddings, we do it all and we do it right. So it's a great place to host. So keep that in mind too.
Lauren has and I'm sure it's the answer. I'm going to ask it anyways. The bourbon infusion that has just exploded here. Has the museum benefited from that as well?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Louisville, Kentucky in general has benefited. I mean, the tourism industry is just busting at the seams. Mm-hmm. I know I mentioned earlier before we got on this podcast, it's like, between bourbon and horse racing, it's,
It's wild.
It is.
And you see, so many businesses opening. I mean, it's almost getting to be where like, oh, I'm a plumber, I'm going to open a business, bourbon plumbing.
It's funny. It's funny.
Which is
and
brilliant.
And it's, Derby plumbing,
Yep.
So it's just kind of like, that's very reflective of what we are as a city and what we are as a state. And it's just so fun and exciting. And I mean, God, May, first Saturday in May.
That whole 2 weeks, I don't know. I'm sure there's other places that have something similar.
I refuse to believe that.
Maybe not.
I reject that.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
No, I'm certain that there is.
Does Indianapolis party for 2 weeks before the?
I don't know
Indy
anybody
500?
that. I mean, I really don't. And it's like people are partying across the country for us.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool too. Because that was another thing, as I mentioned, our education. We kind of do. We'll call them electronic derby parties, and people are hosting derby parties throughout the world that we're involved in. So it's just, it's incredible that you don't realize the following that the derby has. It's wild.
So I don't know. I got a true appreciation about 10 years ago. Matter of fact, I think it was 2013. Spent my first derby away from Louisville. Not being in a local party.
Oh, sad.
Well, my brother had his bachelor party. We went up to Chicago, hit a Cubs game in Wrigley. But on Saturday, we went to their offshore or off-site betting site.
Yep.
Took the train from the downtown Chicago where we were staying to the site. The train was packed with ladies in derby hats, guys in coats and jackets. It was a huge celebration. Now, they were going specifically to an off-site.
That is incredible.
But it was a huge street party in Chicago. I was like, man, the Derby, it just really hit me at how big it was.
Yeah.
And the second time, about 2 years later, my wife and I actually went down to Florida, and we were gone for Derby weekend. Mm-hmm. Went to a local bar in the beach, packed, and every TV switched over to the track. I mean, it was the Derby, obviously. It is big.
It just makes you feel like you're at home.
It was really a sense of pride and really kind of hit home like, this is, I think you take it for granted when you live here.
Yeah.
Just like everything else.
Yeah, definitely.
Really and truly. But it's really special. It's a special time. It's, it has this amazing economic impact on our city and on our state. So, that right there is just incredible. But, I mean, a whole lot of fun.
Last year, we went over, I think we were at my in-laws and we were watching the races all day. And I was playing with the Twin Spires app, betting here and there. Not doing particularly well. Did 3 or 4 bets for the Derby as it's going off. As they're loading the horses, my wife hits me in the elbow and says, "Put some money on that Rich Strike, that long shot."
Nice.
Did you do it?
Yes.
Good idea.
I put
she
like
had.
$10 and won $800.
Hell yeah.
She's a good woman.
She is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's huge. I mean, it's everybody becomes a horse expert Derby week.
That's right.
I'll put $100 in my Twin Spires
Me
account,
either.
and my wife looks at me like, "You don't know what you're doing." I'm like, yeah, but this week, this is fun.
Find out who I like, and then you can narrow the field to 19 from 20.
Exactly. I know. I usually just like tug on the coattail of people that I know are handicappers around. I'm like, hey, what do you think? And my dad's actually really good at it too. I don't know how he does it, but regardless, I'm always like making phone calls. Well, who should I bet on? Because I don't know.
Well, it's like if I go with the favorite, then the long shot wins. If I go with
Exactly.
the third, then the favorite is wire to wire, and
Exactly. And the favorites just don't pay as much too.
They don't.
Of
You want to
course.
make it
So,
fun. You want to make it
yes.
fun.
Yeah, it has to be fun. And just like your $10 bet that made you 800, that was a good day.
that was
a
wild.
good
I was like,
day.
And there's a bit of a thrill in cashing a ticket, but the
Oh,
big
absolutely.
thrill is the one that makes you a little bit of money.
yeah, that was super cool.
Yeah. And one thing I did want to mention too about the backstretch is we're going to have complimentary VIP. Well, it's all VIP, but complimentary valet parking. So that's a nice touch.
Yeah.
And then as far as attire goes, it's formal attire. So for the ball, the dinner portion of the evening, that's white or black tie. But for the backstretch, it's just formal attire. So it's a little step down. So don't feel like you have to be all dressed to the nines in a tux. Come in a suit. That's fine too. Cocktail attire. Just come and have fun.
I love it.
Give
It
it a
sounds
shot.
like a lot of fun.
Give it a shot, and I bet you'll come
Yeah.
back every year.
So one of my favorite things to do Derby week, which is you got to have somebody that has an ownership pass or whatever. You ever been on the backside, Dawn at the Downs?
I have gone to where you just watch them warm up.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah,
But I
that's-
wasn't on the backside.
Okay. Oh, you've been on on the track side then.
Yeah.
Does the museum have anything Derby week AMs, like big hosting gatherings?
But no, not really. I mean, because the backside's one of those things where it's very coveted and it's very, very much, you have to know somebody
Yeah.
to get back there. And it's so cool. We typically do backside tours, and we do have some backside Derby tours, but I think they've been booked for months.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah, it's hard. But it's nice to know that we offer them, and
Absolutely.
a lot of people don't know that. So as soon as I think we usually, for the 100 days before Derby is when we post our Derby tours. And once we do, it's like they're gone.
They're right out.
Is that the stables and the trainers and the jockeys and
Yes.
all? Yeah.
So you get to see the inner workings, and right now, obviously, once the horses come back, because the horses do leave for different periods of the year between meets. But once the horses are back there, it's just the energy is so cool, especially at the spring meet. There's nothing better.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a highlight. Yeah, generally I had may he rest in peace, but I had an older co-worker that passed away in the last couple months, but he was a part of a syndicate for years. And every year we would go out there like on Wednesday. Wednesday morning, we wake up early, get out there with a coffee. Oh, it was great.
Oh, it's a
The highlight
blast.
of the week.
It's a blast.
When my two younger ones were both in elementary school, we went before school one morning.
Yep.
That was so cool. And, the horses come up, you're petting them on the nose, chatting with the jockeys, watching them run. And the weather at this time of year at 8 a.m. is just perfect.
I know, it's beautiful.
It's brisk and beautiful.
Except on Derby Day, usually.
Yeah, then it's raining or
And
snowing.
it's raining at 30 degrees.
It's no one knows. Is there an early forecast? I haven't really paid attention.
No, I usually don't look at it because it's like,
Good idea.
It's
Good
kind
idea.
of.
I bet you can bet on it somewhere.
Probably.
Bet
You
you
should
can.
be able to.
You should.
I know what my bet would be. Because it's like every single year.
Yeah.
Seriously. And then it was funny. Well, not funny, but COVID year, nobody could go. And
It was
it
beautiful.
was beautiful.
Was it in September?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Were you there?
no.
Okay.
Actually, no, I think I was there, but we were inside the building. Maybe we left early that year. It was a very bizarre year. Just strange. Didn't feel right. Didn't feel like Derby. But nevertheless, the show must go on.
Yeah.
And it has. Thank
Yeah.
God.
Yep. What about favorite Derby story?
Ooh,
Here, I'll tell mine. It's not
Yeah,
my
tell
favorite.
yours.
It's embarrassing, but I'll be vulnerable on the show. I quit drinking about 23 years ago.
okay.
And shortly before that I was in the infield in the Derby and ended up losing everyone I was with and could not find a soul that I know. I'm from Louisville. You think third turn, you can find somebody. I couldn't find anybody. So I just looked around, saw two people, decided those were my new friends, sat down with them. The next thing I knew, I was waking up and everyone was gone from the infield.
geez.
The cheese stands alone.
Yes, I was
in the infield.
definitely the cheese.
Oh my gosh, that is
That's
so funny.
That is a third turn infield stories. You see 0 horses.
Yes.
You see a lot of other sites though. That's for
Yes.
sure.
Oh, you do see it. You see all the sites. Actually, it's funny because you did say infield, so I'm going to go back, way back, throwback years, and I was far too young to be drinking, but I must admit I was. And I think we had this bright idea to maybe drink some kind of vodka out of a water bottle on the way to the track and maybe chase it with Sunkist. One of those great 20-year-old ideas. And I'm fairly certain that my friends were worried that I may get arrested. So they called my mom. My mom came to come get me. She was on a first date. And it was horrible. It was horrifying. She never dated this guy again because God knows what I said. I probably ruined everything. But it's like, oh my God, you're on a first date and you're picking up your drunk daughter from the track. It's certainly not a good moment for me, and not one that I'm particularly proud of either. But
Derby in Louisville, that seems acceptable though, even for a first date.
God, yeah, probably. I mean, memorable at the very.
If we're telling infield derby
Yes,
stories, all right,
yes.
here's mine, and hopefully my teenage daughter won't be listening to this podcast, which I know she won't be.
Cover your ears.
No, me, 3 buddies. We spent Friday night at a friend's house syringing. We would poke a little pinhole in like a Sprite 2-liter, shake it, get it down about 3/4 down, and then syringing it with vodka,
Nice.
gluing it up. We spent hours, got it all together, got our coolers all packed. We parked. I don't even remember how we got there, but we basically did not want to go in one of the main entrances, and we just found a tunnel. We were also, seniors in high school,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
$50 was big time, right?
Yeah.
So
For
we didn't want to pay anything. We walked through the security tunnel. Next thing we know, we look around, we're like, holy shit, guys. We're in the infield. We made it through,
That is
and we spent the whole night
incredible.
syringing it.
That's awesome.
And
Needless to say.
it paid off.
Yeah.
We tried it again the next year. It did not
Didn't
pay
work
off.
out.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
yeah,
I mean, hey, still, it was a feat.
I think a different year we had some doctored stuff like that and some regular stuff, and security threw away the stuff that wasn't doctored, and we got through with
No.
the stuff
There
that
you
was.
go.
Yeah.
There you
Of
go.
course.
Yeah.
That is just not the way you'd think it would go, but good for you.
Yeah.
God bless the Derby.
Bravo. No,
Have you
God
all
bless the Derby.
Ever heard, I don't know if it's an urban myth or real, where they have the Boy Scout Jamboree a few weeks before the Derby in the infield, and people go there and bury a keg while they're there?
I've heard something like this.
I've never heard that.
I'm curious if that's a myth or not.
No, I've never heard that. That's interesting. I'll have to investigate. Fact check.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant.
Absolutely.
Well, Lauren, you were telling Neal and I a little bit before we started casting that you also are a real estate agent.
I am.
And how's that going for you?
Great. I've been in real estate for, actually selling and productive for 2 years. Just I love it. Love it, love it, love it. It's a blast, and love working, especially with first time buyers. But I love working with buyers mainly. I'm not,
They are the most fun,
they're
for
so
sure.
fun, and it's so rewarding, and they're just so excited, and it's just fun to, it's hard, especially, it has been in the last couple of years in this market. It's hard to find, especially first-time buyers that don't have a lot of equity to bring to the table, to get them in something, especially something that they have in mind, without getting a little bit too imaginative. But it's just so rewarding, and it's just so fun to see them kind of make it their own after they get in. That's my favorite thing is I got pictures the other night from a client that, this house, it was you wouldn't have seen past what it was, and now it's just this they've turned it into this most incredible home, and it's just there's something very magical about it.
This is a question for both of you. Neal, you've been in real estate for a number of years now. Do you ever go back to a house that you sold, just like you said, Lauren? Does a homeowner ever say, "Hey, come see what we did"?
Yeah.
Occasionally, yes, but then the holy grail is when that somebody you helped them buy, they call and say, "Hey,
Yep.
we need to sell it now."
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
what you're doing. What you're doing to for. That's the whole.
I love
That's the
it.
payoff.
That's right. People should realize too. This is just a little plug. A house doesn't come with an agent. Find your agent to help you find the house.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. And not all agents are created equal. There's a lot of really good agents in the city, and I'd say the general public is very fortunate to have them as their advocates. But do your research, and based off your personality and what you need and what you're looking for and what that person brings to the table, because, some are just not a good fit and others are. So, be particular. You have that right. And you're going to be spending a lot of time. I always say, I'm your temporary best friend. So, some
therapist.
Yes, and therapist. So, but yeah, it's a blast.
It's great.
That's awesome. Let's see. Oh, well, it just went. I was going to had something before we wrap up, but now I forgot.
Lauren, I know you have some other news on the way. You could tell us a little bit about your family.
Sure. So it's funny because I walked in, I'm like, well, I've got this baby on board. So that's why I'm like, well, ball's next weekend. I've got, I had to find a really stretchy dress because I'm due with our second baby girl in August. So I'm so excited about that. This ball will be a little bit different for me because I'll still be out on the dance floor. I promise you that, but may look a little different this year. So, but yeah, so I have a 4-year-old daughter and we're expecting another, like I said, in August, and we're so excited. This one was a complete surprise, but sometimes the best blessings are the ones that you don't expect. So
right.
We're so excited.
Congratulations.
Thank you
That's
so
fantastic.
much. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm a Leo, so I'm an August baby.
Nice.
So.
I love it. It's funny that you said that because until I'm telling everybody I'm doing August, I'm like, I didn't know anybody that was born in August. And now it's like everybody is born in August.
September.
You were so close.
Yeah, so close.
I'm closer to October. I'm a Libra.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, hey, spooky season.
That's right.
That's a good birthday to have.
And I'm pretty spooky sometimes.
I like it. Me too.
Yeah. Well, I swear there was something I wanted to ask before we wrap up, but give us the details of the backstretch again for folks.
Sure.
Yeah, like where they can find tickets.
Sure.
Yeah.
If you go to derbymuseum.org/ball, you can purchase your tickets. Like I said, there is a place for a promo code. Use KDM 50 off to get $50 off each ticket. So bringing the price down from $150 to $100. Special. For what you're getting, come out and have a blast. Like I said, you will not regret it. There's going to be a lot of people to have fun with and a lot of good photo ops, which I know, the younger demographics all about their photo ops. So it'll just be a great time. And the band The Party Feels was out last year for the ball and people raved. They raved about it. So really looking forward to that. But go to derbymuseum.org/ball to purchase your tickets. Like I said, they'll be up at least until next Thursday at noon. So purchase them sooner rather than later. Of course, go ahead and, got to get your outfit and everything got to be looking good and getting all that squared away. So yeah, go out and do that. And always, my name's Lauren Baldwin. Call the museum if you have any questions or you just have, any thoughts or anything you need to share. Give me a call.
Yeah. And do that right after liking and subscribing on our channel.
Yes, of course. Priorities.
Talk about town.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Lauren. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening. You can reach us at Neal@talkabouttown.com. Neal is a realtor with Judah Real Estate Group. Chad is a partner at Insure Max. You can reach him at chadh@insuremax.com. Check us out on the web at talkabouttownky.com. Go Cards!